Now on CoastTV News.
A crash in Milton and a crash in Cambridge. The heroic saves made by Delaware's emergency responders. And a driver hits 100 miles an hour in a police chase. What Dewey Beach police say happened. And Ocean City police asking for the public's help in identifying a man involved in a string of burglaries this morning.
And we kicked off our holiday weekend in style today. Sunny skies, mid-70s. We're falling into the 40s tonight on parts of the peninsula, and it gets even better as we head into Labor Day. We'll talk all about it in minutes.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Good evening. I'm Grace Eckerly. Welcome to CoastTV News at 11. We begin tonight with some white-knuckle driving heading into Labor Day weekend. Here, Milton Fire Department responded to a crash on Coastal Highway and Hudson Road on Friday. The department says it was a two-car crash with one person trapped. Lewis Fire Department also responded, and together they rescued that person, who was then transported to receive medical attention. And over in Cambridge, the fire department there responded to a major crash on Route 50 just earlier today. Now, take a look at these images on the screen. This is the scene here. Looks like even an aviation response there, too. The department says two cars were involved and one passenger, again, trapped in the driver's seat, this time against a guardrail. First responders removed the roof and doors to free that person. They were then airlifted to a nearby hospital. And Dewey Beach police have arrested a 29-year-old Wilmington man following a reckless driving incident Friday night, and it happened around 9:30. This is what officers say happened. The driver went around a few stopped vehicles, and then he failed to stop at a stop sign. That's when officers attempted to pull him over. Officers say the man then tried to speed away on Coastal Highway, going almost 70 miles an hour through a 25-mile-an-hour zone. The driver then blew through a red light as people were crossing the street lawfully, so they jump out of the way to avoid being hit, and that's according to police when the pursuit continued south, hitting speeds of over 100 miles an hour before police pulled over the man by the Indian River Inlet Bridge. That man then admitted to drinking that night, and he was taken into custody. And for more on this chase and the full list of those charges, you can head over to coasttvnews.com or our mobile app and search Dewey Beach Pursuit. And some big news for young hunters in Delaware. A judge has struck down a rule that would have required 18 to 21-year-olds to hunt under adult supervision. The Superior Court ruled that Delaware's constitutional right to bear arms applies to anyone 18 and up. That means starting this hunting season, young adults can head out solo. The now blocked rule was part of a 2022 law that hadn't yet taken effect, and other parts of the law still stand, just not this one. And we're going to take a live look into Dover from our Bay Health Kent campus. Our first alert meteorologist, Chris Mastrobonum, joins us now. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Grace. Boy, I'll tell you what, it was a spectacular day today, and we continued the theme this month of been below average temperatures. See, we hit 90 there back on the 17th, but a lot of blue here, a lot of below average days this month, and this month is going to go down as one of the coolest Augusts in a roughly about 35 years here in Georgetown. And you see highs today. Well, look at this. With sunshine, we only hit 74 in Georgetown, 73 Cambridge, 76 Salisbury, to 73 in Ocean City. It was a gorgeous day, and it's only going to get better as we push through the holiday weekend. We're at 57 degrees right now in Salisbury, 53-degree dew point. So winds are pretty calm, and temperatures are beginning to tank. 53 in Long Neck. We're at 50 in Harrington, 54 in Delaware, a bit milder at the coast where temperatures are in the low 60s. So we're going to see some 40s along the peninsula tonight, especially away from the coast. With clear skies, calm winds, we're going to get that radiational cooling going. High pressure in full control, and that high is really going to slide right over us as we push into Labor Day itself. So we're looking at another gorgeous day along the coast tomorrow. 75 Rehoboth and Ocean City, 77 in Chincoteague with a low risk of rip current. So that is certainly good news, and we're going to continue the theme. Sunny, mild afternoons with cool, crisp nights, and we're going to stay dry, in fact, at least through the middle part of next week. And then by Thursday, Friday of next week, we'll talk about rain moving back in. And we'll talk more about that coming up a little bit later on in the newscast. Grace.
Thanks, Chris. And in Millsboro, a search warrant leads to an arrest for weapon and drug offenses. It happened at this area here on your screen. Delaware State Police arrested a 38-year-old on Friday. The search warrant was obtained following an investigation for the distribution of illegal narcotics. 4 other adults that were there at the time of the search were detained, and DSP seized around 45 grams of crack cocaine as well as ammunition. And the Ocean City Police Department is investigating 2 burglaries that happened just earlier this morning. Officers determined that the same individual was involved in both cases. Here's the image that the police department released of the suspect today. The first case, the suspect broke into an enclosed outdoor bar near 2nd Street in Ocean City. And the second case being a break-in to a mini golf business near 139th Street. And in Washington, D.C., it is the first holiday weekend amid the federal takeover. More than 2,000 National Guard troops will be stationed at the National Mall, outside metro stations, and other heavily trafficked areas. Leanna Golden shows us while President Trump says it's making the city safer, others arguing it's inflicting danger.
It's become the Friday night norm in D.C. Military vehicles on street corners, these ones stationed in Navy Yard. Locals and visitors alike coming up to check them out and ask the soldiers questions.
It's extremely frustrating.
Outside that crowd, you'll find Greg Jackson. He used to work for D.C. government and in the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention. He's since taken his passion to the streets, working on a local level. Have you guys been included in the conversation when it comes to working with federal partners?
Local community-based groups have not been included in any of these conversations.
The first week of Trump's takeover, 7 News checked in with violence interrupters, who then said they fear being left out of the conversation. Jackson says nothing's changed.
Most of the organizations like Guns Down Friday, the Trigger Project, Cure the Streets, most of their interactions, and I just talked to them on a ride over here, has been when a certain officer just pops out of their car in their neighborhood. And this rotating cast of characters from West Virginia and Tennessee and Ohio, they have no relationship to the neighborhood. You know, I just hope that some form of leadership actually takes the time to be a part of the ecosystem, to learn from MPD, to learn from the local organizations, the violence interrupters.
Meantime, at the White House, President Trump's chief of staff for policy said this.
President of the United States, he will not relent, and he will use every authority and tool at his disposal to ensure that the capital city of the United States is safe for all Americans. And we will never waver, and he will never waver from fulfilling that mission.
As for checkpoints this weekend, federal officers told 7 News they can't reveal where they'll be set up, but did tell us they'll be patrolling 13 metro stations across the city.
And D.C. will be reverting to its original youth curfew hours beginning on September 1st. And we have updates tonight in the Minneapolis school shooting, why police say that this wasn't the first time they had encountered the shooter. When they've met before, coming up.
And we're looking at pleasant conditions, comfortable weather continuing into our Sunday. Temperatures rising into the mid to upper 70s with a mix of sun and clouds. And we'll have a look at that all-important Labor Day forecast here in a little bit.
And it has been a busy week here in Delmarva. We have your week in review up next. We'll be back in just 60 seconds. From the effects that we felt of Hurricane Erin to a brand new school being built in a local district, there was a lot happening this week here on the coast. Coast TV's Charlie Sakaitis has a look in review at our week before.
Monday, the coast was still feeling the residual effects of Hurricane Erin. Beachgoers in Ocean City only allowed in the water up to their knees, though there was an exception for professional surfers. The reason was twofold: strong rip currents and fewer lifeguards. According to the beach patrol captain, Butch Arbin, the town was down from 90 lifeguard stands to just 30. Tuesday, quite the kerfuffle at the Osprey Point community, homeowners filing a lawsuit and putting up signs showing what they say they were promised in the development versus what they say they got. The lawsuit alleges that NV Homes violated multiple acts and deceived homeowners, alleging they were deprived of millions of dollars. Wednesday, Coast TV got a look at a brand new school as Sussex Central High School prepares to open its doors for class next week. What's new this year? How about the entire building with wider hallways, new smart boards, and whiteboards in every classroom, plus a whole lot more. Thursday, erosion remains a problem along coastal Delmarva. In Dewey Beach, chunks of sand eaten away by recent storms. The town currently has $6.1 million in beach replenishment funds. The Climate Change Committee considered expanding that number, but did not take any official action this week. And Friday, the Indian River School District is seeking state approval for a $36 million career and technical education center at Indian River High School. If approved, the state would pay for 60% of the project. For your Week in Review, I'm Charlie Sakaitis.
And coming up, some shifts coming from the White House. What's happening and how it affects you ahead of the new season.
And we're looking really nice for those brunch plans tomorrow morning. Wall-to-wall sunshine to start. We'll see a mix of sun and clouds through the afternoon. We're getting up in those mid to upper 70s. It's going to be another beautiful day as this holiday weekend continues. I'll bring you the great details coming up next. What a treat this weekend has been. Really quite a beautiful stretch of weather all the way through last week, and we're seeing some cool temperatures out there. Folks taking a late night stroll on the boards as we wind down the unofficial end to summer. Maybe getting a little ice cream there, having the hoodie out there this evening. 66 in Ocean City. Very dry out there. Dew points are in the 40s and 50s away from the coast. We're down to 53 Long Neck, 54 Red, and 50 in Harrington, and we are at 54 in Delmar. As I mentioned, those dew points are in the 50s. It is very dry, very comfortable, and you can see pretty quiet throughout much of the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, and Upper Great Lakes region as a series of high-pressure systems are really going to kind of dominate our weather pattern here over the next 5 to 6 days, and that is going to keep us really rain-free. It's not until next Thursday and Friday, late Thursday to Friday, where we do see some rain chances roll back in. But this month has been quite cool. In fact, Georgetown, this is shaping up to be one of the coolest Augusts in over 30 years. All the blue you see here are below average days. Yes, where's the heat and humidity? And even in Salisbury, look at that, coming in right there with the fourth coolest August on record, only one 90-degree day. That's pretty incredible, kind of hard to do in this part of the country this time of year. 48 to the lower 50s inland, at the coast, upper 50s to lower 60s with that fall-like chill in the air. Mostly sunny skies tomorrow with highs generally in the mid to upper 70s. So we could see a few clouds kind of mix in throughout the latter part of the day tomorrow into the evening. Tomorrow night, not as cool as tonight, but still a lot of mid to upper 50s away from the coast, and Labor Day itself shaping up to be quite fantastic with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, and we're going to continue that dry weather pattern really into the start of the week and as we begin the month of September. So our Labor Day planner looking pretty nice. We begin the morning in the 60s around 9 a.m. Mostly sunny skies, highs around 76. And then we're looking at partly cloudy skies through the evening. So there's that high pressure kind of just settling right over the Delmarva Peninsula, keeping that area of low pressure to the south at bay. That may kind of creep up as we go into the latter part of the week. What will definitely be coming here is a cold front Thursday into Friday, and there's that system to our south may kind of graze us, or still kind of uncertainties as to how that's going to evolve. But next weekend behind the front, still looking rather dry and unseasonably cool. There's that 6 to 10 day temperature outlook as we go into September 4th through the 8th. Below normal temperatures are going to continue. 76 into Tuesday under partly cloudy skies. We'll butt up to 80. Average high 83, 84 as we go into early September. 81 for the official start of the NFL season there right here on Coast TV. Sunday Night Football on Thursday night. And we're looking at a temperature of 80 degrees on Friday with that chance of rain. Grace.
Thanks, Chris. President Trump flexing his executive powers on several fronts. First, revoking security protection for former Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, naming a new person to head the Center for Disease Control. NBC's Yumiche Alcindor shows us how the turmoil and disruption going on at that agency that oversees the public health.
Chaos continues at the CDC as flu and COVID season quickly approach. The White House announcing Jim O'Neill will be interim acting head of the CDC. He is currently the Deputy Health Secretary and an ally of Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He has no medical training, but worked at the health department in the George W. Bush administration. The announcement comes a day after the White House fired Susan Menares, the woman President Trump chose just last month to lead the CDC. And after at least 4 top health officials at the agency resigned in protest.
I just saw science really being compromised, and I was concerned about scientific integrity particularly when it comes to things like vaccines.
Menares clashed with Kennedy on vaccine policy, the former acting CDC director explaining the disagreement.
He asked her to remove the leaders from CDC, and she was asked to endorse recommendations coming out of the advisory committee on vaccines that she did not believe represented the best science.
One of the infectious disease experts who quit said he was optimistic when Kennedy introduced himself in a speech to the CDC.
And that's not what's played out. So I'll say that I am not able to trust the secretary or his judgment.
Kennedy, a longtime vaccine skeptic, fired all advisory committee members in June. Many of his replacements are vaccine critics. Now, Republican Senator Bill Cassidy, who is also a doctor, is calling for the advisory committee to postpone its meeting next month. The senator writing in part, quote, "If it proceeds, any recommendation should be rejected as it lacks legitimacy." All of this happening as President Trump's battle with the Federal Reserve intensifies. Today, Lisa Cook's attorneys were in court fighting to keep her job. The judge did not make a decision at the hearing. Meanwhile, Democrats are pushing to postpone a hearing to name her replacement. And yesterday, President Trump revoked Secret Service protection for former Vice President Kamala Harris, who's about to go on a national and international book tour. Typically, vice presidents get 6 months of Secret Service protection when they leave office, but former President Biden had extended that to 18 months for Harris. Yamiche Alcindor, NBC News, Washington.
More than 7 years before Robin Westman opened fire at the Annunciation Church and School, police were called to the home at least 2 times where the shooter lived with their mother. The heavily redacted police report NBC News obtained shows a 2-word description explaining why officers were called: mental health. 2 years before the mental health check, police again called for a report of a, quote, criminal offense at the same townhouse, but no other information was given. And after the break here on CoastTV News, at 11, sea turtles rehabilitated and released into the Atlantic Ocean. What poses the biggest threat to those creatures? That's up next. And a popular heart attack treatment may be causing more harm than good, especially in women. That's up next on CoastTV News at 11. And some good news here. The South Carolina Aquarium celebrated its first public sea turtle release of the season. A crowd lined up along Folly Beach to see 5 sea turtles go back into their home in the ocean. The turtles had spent months at the aquarium's care facility recovering from injuries. And each of those turtles had been accidentally hooked by fishermen and were nursed back to health. And in your health news tonight, doctors may soon have a new way to treat high blood pressure. You may have heard of it. It's a new drug called Baxdrostat. And, well, it's showing promise in treating uncontrolled high blood pressure in a recent trial. Researchers say if the federal government approves it, the medicine would be one of the first new approaches to treating high blood pressure in decades. Nearly half of all adults in the U.S. have higher than normal blood pressure. New research suggesting beta blockers pose a threat to women. One analysis focused only on women, and it found that those women are significantly more likely to have another heart attack if they were treated with those beta blockers. They were also more likely to die. Another study finding no benefit in using beta blockers for any patient, male or female, whose hearts were still performing well after their heart attack. We'll be right back after the break. And before that, you've heard about chiropractic care for humans. What about chiropractic care for animals? Yes, they can suffer from the same aches and pains as their human family. And for many, chiropractic care can ease the ache without drugs or surgery.
Do you like these treats?
Meet Kian, a huge Irish wolfhound with a gentle personality. That long spine, though, can sometimes get out of whack.
And they just put him on medication, which isn't really treating or fixing the problem.
So Kian and his owner Karen pay a visit to Dr. Christine Kopp.
Well, I'm looking for areas of, in our world, in the chiropractic world, it's called subluxations, and that means like mild misalignments of the spine of the vertebrae. When the vertebrae is misaligned, it can affect the nerves around it, which in turn affects the whole system.
12-year-old black lab Zoe lost the use of her back legs a few years ago.
She was just standing there, started to walk, and just fell over. Nothing from the middle of her back, couldn't move anything.
It took 3 or 4 visits and adjustments, but Zoe is back on all 4 paws, able to walk.
Now we're at the maintenance stage. She's almost 100%.
Manipulation isn't the only thing available for animals. They can also be treated with cold laser therapy. It penetrates the skin, reducing inflammation and increasing healing. Dr. Kopp also uses supplements to help an animal's health. Just as glucosamine and chondroitin can help human joints, they can also help animals. As for chiropractic,
So I've done alpacas, we have a kangaroo that's coming in. Cats and dogs are my main thing, and horses. I've done mules and donkeys.
but this seems to be a dog day, and these patients are up and walking, enjoying a dog's life.
Kopp says certain breeds are more prone to spinal issues than others, and a lot of that just has to do with their builds, but also just jumping off furniture can impact your pet's spine and those vital nerves. And after the break here on Coast TV News at 11, we're going to take a live look into Ocean City. We have the final check on your forecast. Coast TV News continues in just a few moments. Check this out, video from the U.S. Open. Anna Kalinskaya warms up with her match with her dog, Bella. It doesn't get much better than that. That is a lucky pup right there. And is life in the U.S. too stressful? Well, then the Nordic nation of Iceland is for you. Famed for its volcanoes, hot springs, and uniquely sublime landscapes, it's once again been named the most peaceful country in the world by Global Peace Index. Rounding out the top 5, we have Ireland, New Zealand, Austria, and Switzerland.
Pretty cool part of the world there, and we are seeing some less stressful weather here on Delmarva. Very nice evening out there, cool and crisp. We're at 66 in Ocean City, dipping into the upper 40s away from the coast tonight. And keep in mind, we do have cooler temperatures, but still it could burn about 35 minutes with that UV index of an 8 come tomorrow, and we'll see those UV indexes around 8 through Monday as well, but 77 for our Sunday. Labor Day itself, 76, mostly sunny skies. Get your forecast anytime by dialing the First Alert Weather phone. We're up to 80 on Wednesday. We'll see a temperature of 81. Could see some late showers Thursday into Friday, and then we're right back in the upper 70s by the end of that 10-day forecast. Grace.
Beautiful weather, and thank you for joining us here tonight on Coast TV News at 11. For more local news and weather, download our Coast TV News app. Saturday Night Live starts right now. Have a great night.